Hi, I'm Lesley. I'm going to explain how when I had COVID-19 I had side effects of a regretfulness. So I devised a therapy to help myself. It's most efficacious in every way and it's free. You can do it anywhere. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist. It's just a technique that worked for me, that's all. Ruminating regretfulness is not like me. Normally, I practice existentialism and I say I did that because it seemed like a good idea at the time. I can't change the past, so I don't fret over it, but I did fret. After COVID, my mind went round and round like a hamster in a wheel, dwelling on past injustices, being unhappy and judgmental. I filled 4 pages of A4 with bad decisions I'd made. Why didn't I study English at school when I was good at it? Why was I friends with that horrible person? Why did I let that person manipulate me? Why didn't I stand up for myself in that situation? Before COVID, I would have said, doesn't matter. There was a reason I did those things. And all the decisions I made, good or bad, ended up making me, me. And I like me, I like my life. Here's an example, made up. I worked as an analyst programmer. I had to say why the monthly sales figure was different from the weekly sales figures for that month, and at last I saw it. Ooh. When the weekly report changed the foreign currencies into euros, it used a field with decimal places, but the monthly report didn't, so those pennies were lost. I think someone has a macro, and every so often it took those pennies and it put them in someone's bank account. So I went to tell my boss. He wasn't pleased. He said I wasn't to tell anyone else. It was for his eyes only, and he'd get someone to help me. The person he got to help me just ridiculed me, and the boss didn't stand up for me. I was really upset because I'd worked hard and I'd done a good job. I discovered a fraud. So I quit. When I was so upset I cried on the way home. And later on I thought, why was I so silly? The boss was the perpetrator, I expect. He knew all about the missing pennies and he was harvesting off those pennies, and he didn't want me to tell anyone because he didn't want his crime to be revealed. Why did I let him humiliate me? It's obvious what's going on. I was shocked and I was unprepared. We judge other people by our own agendas, and I don't swindle people. So I decided I'd pretend that I'd handled things differently. I imagined every little detail so it became more real. So here we go. I discovered a fraud and I marched to the CEO's office. I can imagine it. There he is, working at his computer. And his face is lit up by the screen, and he smiles at me, and I smell his fusty dusty office, and I smell his cologne, and I say, I've found a fraud, and I show him the 2 reports, and he shouts, what the hell is going on? And he knocks his cup of coffee to the floor and it splashes everywhere and the coffee cup breaks, and he goes striding out of the office to see the boss, and I scamper along behind him, and the boss sees us coming and he runs down the stairs. Oi. And the CEO runs after him and they tumble downstairs making a racket, and dust motes fly everywhere, and the security man comes panting out and he locks the boss in the toilet, and we can hear the boss in there banging on the door with his fists and kicking it and screaming, and other people in the office who also don't like the boss come running up to see the fun, and he's humiliated. Good. I didn't like him. Back to reality. I know this didn't happen. I know it's a fantasy, but every time my mind tries to obsess about it, I just think of the version I made up. I concentrate on that, and that drives the real version out of my mind, and I don't feel so miserable about it. And because that was the worst incident that I regret, and I've now coped with it, none of the other things that I was upset about matter. That's how it works. But I haven't had COVID for months, and I'm not regretful now. So maybe it works, and maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But it's worth a try.